The morning sun pushed through the blinds of Dr. Kang Do-hyun's small apartment on the edge of New Seoul. He opened his eyes and reached for the empty space beside him, a habit he had not broken in the 3 years since his wife had died. The clock read 6:30 a.m. Soon the patter of small feet would come down the hallway. Do-hyun sat up and rubbed his eyes. On his bedside table sat a photo of his wife, Jia, holding their daughter Mina as a baby. Next to it was a more recent picture of Mina, now 8 years old with her front tooth missing and her smile wide. Dad, wake up!" Mina burst through the door, already dressed in her hiking clothes, a purple jacket and small boots. "You promised we would go to the forest today," Do-hyun smiled. "I did promise, didn't I? Let me get ready first." While Do-hyun dressed, Mina sat on his bed, swinging her legs back and forth. "Will we see any animals today?" "Maybe some birds," Do-hyun said. "Maybe a deer if we're lucky." "What about aliens?" Mina's eyes grew wide with excitement. Do-hyun laughed. "The visitors stay far from the settlement, Mina. That's why we have the boundary." The boundary was a line that marked the safe zone around New Seoul. Beyond it, strange things had been happening since 6 months ago when lights had fallen from the sky. The government called them meteorites, but people knew better. Something had come to Earth. Do-hyun worked at the Advanced Biotechnology Research Institute, where he helped build machines that could read and save human memories. His work was important. It helped people with brain injuries and old people who were losing their memories. But lately, the institute had been asking him to work on secret projects. After breakfast, Do-hyun and Mina left their apartment building. They walked past the tall glass towers of New Seoul toward the boundary line. Mina skipped ahead, her small backpack bouncing. "Not too far, Mina," Do-hyun called. "Stay where I can see you." At the boundary checkpoint, a guard nodded at Do-hyun. "Dr. Kang, going for a hike?" "Yes. We won't go far." The guard looked at his tablet. "Be careful. There have been reports of strange lights in the eastern forest. Maybe choose another path." "Today?" Do-hyun frowned. "We'll stay on the main trail. We'll be back before lunch." Beyond the boundary, the city ended suddenly, and the forest began. Old trees stood tall, their leaves shining in the morning light. Mina ran ahead, picking up sticks and rocks. "Look, Dad." She held up a rock shaped like a heart. "It's for Mom." Do-hyun smiled. She would love it. They hiked for an hour following the main trail. Do-hyun checked his watch. "Time to turn back, Mina." "Just a little farther," Mina begged. "I want to see the river." Do-hyun sighed. "Okay, 10 more minutes." They walked deeper into the forest. The trail grew narrower, and the trees grew closer together. Do-hyun felt uneasy. They had gone too far. "Mina, let's go back now." But Mina wasn't listening. She had stopped a few meters ahead, staring at something between the trees. "Dad, look, it's shiny." Do-hyun ran forward. "Mina, don't touch anything." Between the trees, something glowed with a soft blue light. It looked like broken glass, but it moved like water. Do-hyun had seen pictures of these things. The scientists at the institute called them shimmer beasts, because of how they shimmered in the light and moved like animals. "Mina, come back here now." Do-hyun's voice was sharp with fear. Mina turned, her eyes wide. "But Dad, it's pretty—" Before she could finish, the glowing thing moved. Fast. Too fast. It flowed toward Mina like water running downhill. Do-hyun ran, his heart pounding in his chest. "Mina." The shimmer beast reached her first. It wrapped around her small body like a wave. Mina didn't even have time to scream. The creature pulsed once, twice, growing brighter. Do-hyun could see Mina inside it, like a shadow in blue glass. Then, the shadow was gone. Do-hyun fell to his knees beside the creature. It was changing, its surface rippling. For a moment, it took on a shape that looked horribly like Mina, a small human form made of blue crystal. Then it collapsed into a pile of shimmering shards. Do-hyun's scream echoed through the forest. He didn't remember much after that. He remembered picking up a shard of the creature, cutting his hand. He remembered the blood mixing with tears as he tried to gather the pieces. He remembered voices, hands pulling him away, someone saying, "Sir, you need to let go. We'll take care of this." Military personnel in white suits gathered the remains of the Shimmer beast. One of them, a woman with kind eyes, knelt beside Do-hyun. "Dr. Kang, I'm Dr. Lee from Containment Division. I'm so sorry about your daughter." Her voice was gentle but firm. "We need to take you back to the settlement." "Take me with her," Do-hyun said, his voice hollow. "With the specimen? That's not possible." "It's not a specimen, it has my daughter inside it." Dr. Lee looked at him with pity. "Dr. Kang, the creatures don't keep what they consume. They absorb it, break it down." But Do-hyun had seen something, in those final moments when the creature had taken Mina's shape. Something that told him Dr. Lee was wrong. They took him back to New Seoul. A doctor gave him medicine to help him sleep. When he woke up, a man in a military uniform was sitting beside his bed. "Dr. Kang, I'm Colonel Park. I'm sorry about your loss." The colonel's face was hard, without emotion. "The creature that took your daughter has been transported to a secure facility." "I want to see it," Do-hyun said. "That's not possible. These entities are dangerous and unpredictable." Do-hyun sat up straight. "I work at the Advanced Biotechnology Research Institute. I develop neural mapping technology. If there's anything left of my daughter in that thing, I can find it." Colonel Park was quiet for a long moment. "The creature is dormant now. Our scientists say it's dying. Then you have nothing to lose by letting me see it." Another pause. "I'll see what I can do." After the colonel left, Do-hyun sat alone in his empty apartment. Mina's room was just as she had left it that morning. Bed unmade, stuffed animals piled. In a corner, a half-finished drawing on her desk. Do-hyun picked up the drawing. It showed him and Mina standing under a tree. Above them, blue shapes fell from the sky like rain. Do-hyun clutched the drawing to his chest and made a promise to the empty room, to his lost child. "I will find you, Mina. Whatever is left of you, I will find it. And I will make the thing that took you understand what it did." Outside his window, the lights of New Seoul blinked like stars against the night sky. Somewhere beyond the boundary, more lights fell from above. More visitors, more Shimmer beasts. Do-hyun didn't care about the others. He only cared about one. The one that had taken his child. The one he would rebuild piece by piece until it could feel what he felt. Until it could weep for what it had done. 6 months passed. The apartment was clean now. Too clean. Do-hyun had put away all of Mina's toys, folded her clothes, and closed her bedroom door. But he had not forgotten. Each morning, Do-hyun went to work at the Advanced Biotechnology Research Institute. Each evening he came home to the empty apartment, and each night he worked on his plans. The institute had changed since the Shimmer beasts arrived. Half the building was now a military zone where scientists studied the alien creatures. Do-hyun's security badge did not let him enter that part of the building, but he was patient. He watched. He waited. Dr. Park Ji-hye worked in the restricted area. She studied how the Shimmer beasts communicated with each other. Once she and Do-hyun had been friends. Now she avoided his eyes when they passed in the hallway. One rainy evening, Do-hyun waited for Ji-hye in the parking garage. She jumped when she saw him standing beside her car. "Do-hyun, you scared me." Ji-hye's face was tired, with dark circles under her eyes. "How are you?" "I need your help, Ji-hye." She looked down at her keys. "I can't talk about my work, you know that." "I don't want to talk about your work, I want to talk about mine." Do-hyun handed her a small tablet. "Look at this." Ji-hye took the tablet and swiped through the screens. Her eyes widened. "This is your memory mapping technology. But you've changed it. I've improved it. It can now read memory patterns from non-human neural structures." "Like what?" "Like crystalline matrices. Like Shimmer beasts." Ji-hye looked up sharply. "Do-hyun, no. I know what you're thinking, and it's not possible. Even if there are traces of your daughter in the creature that took her, they're just echoes. Not really her." I know that. Do-hyun's voice was flat. But echoes are better than nothing. The creature that took Mina is dying. Its structure is breaking down. That's why I need your help. I can rebuild it. Ji-hye stared at him. You want to save the thing that killed your daughter? I want to make it remember what it did. Do-hyun's eyes were cold. I want to make it feel what I feel. Rain drummed on the roof of the parking garage. After a long silence, Ji-hye said, Come to my office tomorrow. I can give you 15 minutes. The next day, Ji-hye's office door was locked. Do-hyun waited outside until she arrived. We need to be quick, she said, unlocking the door. Once inside, she turned on a small device that made a soft humming sound. This blocks listening devices. Do-hyun raised an eyebrow. The military doesn't trust scientists anymore, Ji-hye explained. Now tell me exactly what you want. I want to see the shimmer beast that took Mina. I want to study it. Why would the military allow that? Because I can offer them something they want. Do-hyun leaned forward. The shimmer beasts communicate through some kind of hive mind, right? That's what you're studying. Ji-hye didn't confirm or deny it. My neural mapping technology could help you understand their communication. If I can rebuild the dying creatures' neural pathways, we might be able to access the hive mind. And what do you get out of this? Ji-hye asked. I get to see if any trace of Mina remains in the creature's memory. Ji-hye sighed. I'll talk to Colonel Park. But Do-hyun, you need to be prepared for disappointment, and you need to be honest with the military about your intentions. I'm always honest, Do-hyun said, his face blank. 3 days later, Do-hyun stood in a white room deep within the restricted area of the institute. The room was cold. In the center, inside a clear container, lay the remains of the shimmer beast that had taken Mina. It didn't look dangerous now. It looked like a pile of broken blue glass. Small lights blinked around the container, monitoring the creature. Colonel Park stood beside Do-hyun. Dr. Kang, I'll be clear. We're allowing this because Dr. Park believes your technology might help us communicate with these things. If that happens, we can better defend ourselves against them. Do-hyun nodded. I understand. You'll work under supervision at all times. You'll report any findings directly to me, and if I decide to end this project, it ends. Is that clear? Very clear. After Colonel Park left, Ji-hye showed Do-hyun the research they had done so far. The shimmer beasts had a complex crystalline structure that somehow functioned like a neural network. When they consumed living things, they absorbed not just the physical material, but also neural patterns, memories. We think they share these memories through their collective consciousness, Ji-hye explained. It's how they learn about new environments. And the creature's deterioration? Do-hyun asked. Its neural pathways are breaking down. It's like watching a brain die cell by cell. Do-hyun looked at the dying shimmer beast. I can fix that. For the next month, Do-hyun worked day and night. He developed a synthetic crystalline material that could mimic the shimmer beast's structure. Using nanobots, he began to rebuild the creature's neural pathways, replacing damaged sections with his synthetic material. The military watched his progress with growing interest. Do-hyun's technology worked better than they had expected. The dying shimmer beast began to stabilize. Ji-hye worried about her friend. When was the last time you went home? She asked one night, bringing him coffee. Do-hyun couldn't remember. He slept on a cot in the lab now. The walls were covered with diagrams of the shimmer beast's neural structure. I'm close, Ji-hye, he said. The creature's consciousness is still. There, just fragmented. I can restore it. And then what? Do-hyun didn't answer. One evening, when Ji-hye had gone home and only a sleepy guard remained outside the lab, Do-hyun connected his neural interface to the reconstructed shimmer beast. The interface was a small device that could translate neural signals into visual data. Do-hyun had told the military it was for monitoring the creature. He hadn't told them it worked both ways. Do-hyun put on the headset connected to the interface and closed his eyes. At first, there was nothing. Then, slowly, a sensation like falling. Color swirled around him, formless and strange. The Shimmer Beast's consciousness was alien, difficult to comprehend. Do-hyun pushed deeper, searching for any pattern that felt human, any trace of Mina. Suddenly, a flash of purple. Mina's jacket. Then it was gone. Do-hyun's heart raced. It wasn't much, just a fragment of memory, but it was proof. Something of Mina remained in the creature's mind. Over the next weeks, Do-hyun refined his interface. Each time he connected to the Shimmer Beast, he found more fragments. Mina's laugh, a glimpse of her face, the feeling of her small hand holding his. The memories were broken and mixed with alien thoughts, but they were there. The Shimmer Beast was becoming more active. Its crystalline form pulsed with a soft blue light. The military observers were excited by this progress, but also wary. "Dr. Kang, you've done remarkable work," Colonel Park said during an inspection. "But we need to know if you can communicate with it. Can it understand us?" "Not yet," Do-hyun lied. In truth, he had begun to understand the creature's thoughts, and it was starting to understand his. But he needed more time before sharing this with the military. Late one night, when Do-hyun was alone in the lab, he connected to the Shimmer Beast. Again. This time he brought something new, a complete memory of Mina. Using his neural mapping technology, he had recorded his own memories of his daughter. Now, he would share them with the creature that took her. As the memory played, Mina's birthday, her blowing out candles, her smile, Do-hyun felt the Shimmer Beast's consciousness shift. It was watching. It was learning. And for the first time, Do-hyun felt something from the creature that he understood perfectly: confusion. The Shimmer Beast did not understand the concept of a child, of loss, of grief. It had consumed Mina as it had consumed countless other life forms across the stars, to learn, to grow, to share with its kind. Do-hyun pulled off the headset, his hands shaking. The creature glowed brighter now, its crystalline form almost fully restored. Do-hyun named it Echo, for the echoes of Mina that lived within it. And he made a new plan. He would teach Echo what it meant to be human. He would make it understand what it had taken from him, and then he would make it weep. Echo grew stronger each day. The blue crystal creature now filled its container, pulsing with light in a steady rhythm like a heartbeat. Do-hyun had rebuilt almost 80% of its structure with his synthetic material. The military was pleased with his progress. "The next step is communication," Colonel Park said during the weekly meeting. "We need to know what these things want, why they're here." Do-hyun nodded, his face giving nothing away. "I'm working on it." What Do-hyun didn't tell Colonel Park was that he was already communicating with Echo. Each night, when the lab was empty, except for the guard outside, Do-hyun connected to Echo's mind. It was getting easier. The alien thoughts were becoming more organized, more understandable. Echo was ancient. Its kind had traveled between stars for millions of years, gathering knowledge by absorbing other life forms. They didn't see this as destruction. They saw it as preservation. Everything they consumed became part of their collective memory, shared across vast distances through their hive mind. The Echo that had taken Mina was young by their standards, barely 1,000 years old. It had been damaged during its journey to Earth and had acted on instinct when it found Mina. It hadn't understood that humans were different, that each one was a unique individual, not just a part of a collective. One night, Ji-hye caught Do-hyun using the neural interface. "What are you doing?" she asked, startling him. Do-hyun pulled off the headset. "Research." Ji-hye looked at the screen showing Echo's neural activity. "This isn't monitoring. You're sending data to the creature." "I'm teaching it." "Teaching it what?" Do-hyun hesitated, then decided to trust his friend. "I'm teaching it about Mina, about what it means to lose someone." Ji-hye sat down beside him. "Do-hyun, this is dangerous. We don't know how the creature will react, and if the military finds out, they won't. Not until I'm ready." Do-hyun's eyes were tired but determined. "I found more of Mina's memories inside Echo. They're fragmented, but they're there. Sometimes I can see through her eyes. feel what she felt. That's not healthy. It's all I have left. Jihye was quiet for a moment. What does the creature think about all this? Echo is curious. It's never stayed connected to one human mind for this long before. Usually its kind just takes the memories and moves on. Do-hyun looked at the glowing creature. It's learning what it means to be human. And that's what you want? For it to understand humanity? I wanted to understand what it took from me. The next day, Do-hyun brought something new to the lab, a small music box. It had been Mina's favorite toy. When opened, it played a simple melody and a tiny dancer spun around. That night, Do-hyun connected to Echo and showed it the music box. In his mind, he played memories of Mina winding up the box, watching the dancer spin with delight on her face. The memories felt different this time, stronger, more complete. Echo was helping, filling in gaps with fragments of Mina's own memories, of the music box. Suddenly, Do-hyun wasn't just remembering, he was experiencing Mina's memories directly. He could feel her small fingers turning the key, hear the music through her ears, feel her joy as the dancer spun. The sensation was so real that tears ran down Do-hyun's face. When he removed the headset, he noticed something strange. Echo's crystalline form was vibrating slightly, creating a faint sound. It took Do-hyun a moment to recognize the tune. It was the melody from the music box, imperfect but recognizable. Echo was learning faster than Do-hyun had expected. The next morning, Colonel Park arrived with a team of new scientists. "We're adding more personnel to the project," he announced. "The higher-ups are impressed with your progress." Do-hyun looked at the new faces. "I work better alone." "This isn't a request, Dr. Kang. These scientists will help you develop the communication system we need." Do-hyun knew he was running out of time. The military wanted results and they wouldn't wait forever. He needed to accelerate his plan. That night, Do-hyun locked the lab door from the inside. He told the guard he was running a sensitive experiment and couldn't be disturbed. Then he removed the containment field around Echo. The creature's glow filled the room. It remained in place, not trying to escape. Do-hyun approached it slowly, carrying his neural interface. "Tonight we try something new," he said aloud, though he knew Echo couldn't hear his voice. It understood thoughts, not words. Do-hyun placed part of the interface directly onto Echo's crystalline surface. The other part, he put on his own head. This direct connection was risky. The neural load could be too much for his brain to handle. But he needed a stronger link. As soon as the connection formed, Do-hyun was flooded with alien thoughts. It was overwhelming, disorienting. He fought to maintain his sense of self as Echo's ancient consciousness pressed against his mind. Slowly, painfully, Do-hyun pushed back. He focused on one memory, the day Mina was born, the hospital room, Jia's tired smile, the tiny red face of their daughter, eyes squeezed shut against the bright lights. The pressure in his mind eased. Echo was watching, learning. Do-hyun showed more memories. Mina's first steps, teaching her to ride a bike, reading her bedtime stories. Each memory was precious, each one a piece of the life that Echo had taken. And then Do-hyun showed the last memory, the day in the forest, Mina running ahead, the flash of blue light. The moment when everything ended. Through their connection, Do-hyun felt something new from Echo. Confusion, then understanding, then something like regret. The alien mind was grasping for the first time the concept of loss. Do-hyun pushed harder. He shared his grief, the empty apartment, the sleepless nights, the hole in his life where Mina had been. He let Echo feel all of it. The creature's glow pulsed rapidly, its crystalline form resonating with the emotional overload. And then, something extraordinary happened. A new memory surfaced, but not one of Do-hyun's. It was Mina's memory from inside, Echo. The moment when she was taken. There was fear, but it was brief. Then a strange sense of expansion, as if her consciousness was stretching, merging with something vast and ancient. It hadn't been painful. In those final moments, Mina had felt wonder. Do-hyun gasped and broke the connection. He fell to his knees, his mind reeling from what he had experienced. Echo's glow dimmed, then steadied. When Do-hyun looked up, he saw that Echo's form had changed. It had shifted into a vague human shape, like a child made of blue crystal. It was mimicking Mina's form, just as it had done in the forest immediately after consuming her. "You remember," Do-hyun whispered. The crystal figure didn't move, but its glow pulsed once like a nod. The next morning, when the scientists entered the lab, they found Echo back in its container and Do-hyun working at his computer as if nothing had happened. But something had changed. The creature now responded to simple commands, shifting its form or changing its glow pattern when instructed. The military was thrilled. "This is a breakthrough," Colonel Park said. "How did you do it?" "Found a way to communicate with its neural network," Do-hyun explained. "It's primitive, but it's working." Only Ji-hye noticed the change in Do-hyun. "What really happened?" she asked when they were alone. "Echo understands now," Do-hyun said. "It knows what it did to Mina, and it knows what comes next." "What comes next?" Do-hyun looked at Echo, its form once again a perfect sphere of blue crystal. "I'm going to show it all of Mina's memories, not just fragments, but everything I can find inside its mind. I'm going to make it experience her entire life, from her perspective. And then we'll see if an alien can weep." The military moved Echo to a larger lab. The new space had better equipment and stronger containment fields. It also had more cameras and more guards. Do-hyun knew they were watching him more closely now. Colonel Park visited every day asking for progress reports. "The higher-ups want results, Dr. Kang. They want to know if we can communicate with the other Shimmer beasts." "These things take time," Do-hyun said. "Echo is still learning our language." This was not exactly a lie. Echo was learning, but not in the way the military thought. Through their neural connection, Echo was absorbing human concepts at an amazing speed. It now understood words like family and loss and grief. It understood what it meant to be a child, to grow, to learn, to love. Ji-hye worried about Do-hyun. "You look exhausted," she said one afternoon. "When was the last time you slept properly?" Do-hyun couldn't remember. His dreams were full of Mina now, but they weren't just his memories. They were Echo's memories of Mina's memories, complex, layered, sometimes confusing. In these dreams, he saw parts of his daughter's life he had never witnessed. Her thoughts as she played alone in her room, her secret fears, her small joys. "I'm fine," Do-hyun told Ji-hye. "Echo and I are making progress. The military is getting impatient. There's talk of bringing in someone else to lead the project." Do-hyun straightened. "They can't do that. I'm the only one who understands Echo's neural structure. Then give them something, anything." That evening, Do-hyun programmed Echo to respond to simple verbal commands. When Colonel Park visited the next day, Do-hyun demonstrated how Echo would change color or shape when asked. "This is good," Colonel Park said, but Do-hyun could tell he wanted more. "Can it answer questions? Can it tell us about the others of its kind?" "Not yet. Its understanding of our language is still basic." Colonel Park frowned. "You have 1 week to show real progress, Dr. Kang. After that, we bring in new leadership." After he left, Do-hyun locked the lab and connected to Echo. This time, he had a new plan. Instead of just sharing individual memories, he would create a full memory sequence, a continuous stream of Mina's life, from her earliest memories to her last. The process was delicate and dangerous. Do-hyun had to find fragments of Mina's memories inside Echo's vast consciousness and arrange them in order. It was like putting together a puzzle with missing pieces. Where the gaps were too large, Do-hyun filled them with his own memories of Mina. It took 3 days of almost continuous work. Do-hyun barely ate or slept. Ji-hye brought him food, which he hardly touched. "Whatever you're doing, it's killing you," she said. "I'm almost done." Do-hyun's eyes were red from lack of sleep. Just one more day. On the fourth day, Do-hyun completed the memory sequence. It wasn't perfect. There were still gaps and jumps, but it was the most complete record of Mina's life that could be created. That night, Do-hyun made sure the lab was secure, then connected to Echo for what he knew might be the last time. The military's patience was running out. Soon they would take Echo away from him. Through the neural interface, Do-hyun activated the memory sequence. Echo's consciousness joined with his, and together they began to experience Mina's life. First came the earliest memories, blurry and fragmented, the feeling of being held, the sound of Jia's heartbeat, the comfort of warm arms. Then clearer memories, as Mina grew. Her first steps, the taste of birthday cake, learning to read, the day her mother got sick. The funeral, which Mina didn't fully understand except that everyone was sad and her mother was gone. Echo absorbed each memory, experiencing them as if they were happening now. Do-hyun felt the alien mind struggling to process the emotions attached to each memory: happiness, fear, confusion, love. They moved forward through Mina's life. School days, friendships, the small world of a child filled with wonders and worries. Mina's love for her father, deep and simple. Her memories of her mother, fading too quickly. And then, the last day. Waking up excited about the hike. Skipping, ahead on the forest path. Finding the strange, beautiful blue light between the trees. The moment of contact, fear giving way to wonder as Mina's consciousness merged with Echo's vast alien mind. When the memory sequence ended, Do-hyun felt Echo's consciousness pull away from his, as if the creature needed space to process what it had experienced. The blue glow in the lab dimmed. Do-hyun removed the headset and waited. Minutes passed. Echo remained dark and still. Had he gone too far? Had the emotional overload damaged the alien mind? Then slowly, Echo began to glow again. Its crystalline form shifted, taking on the shape of a small human. Mina, sitting with her knees pulled up to her chest, and from the surface of the crystal figure, a drop of liquid formed. It hung there for a moment, then fell to the floor with a soft sound. Another drop formed and another. The drops were blue and shimmering, like liquefied crystal. Echo was weeping. Do-hyun stared, his own eyes filling with tears. He had done it. He had made the alien understand grief. Through the neural interface, which was still active on Echo's side, Do-hyun felt a new emotion from the creature, something beyond regret, beyond sorrow. It was understanding. Echo had experienced Mina's entire life, felt her joys and fears, her love for her father, her wonder at the world. And Echo was sorry. The crystal tears continued to fall, each one containing fragments of Mina's memories, glowing with soft blue light. Do-hyun collected one in a small vial. Under a microscope, he could see that the tear was different from Echo's normal structure. It was more complex, more organized, as if the emotional experience had changed the very nature of the alien material. For the next 3 days, Echo remained in Mina's form, weeping silently. The scientists were amazed. Colonel Park was pleased, thinking this was a breakthrough in communication. "What is it doing?" he asked. "Why this shape? Why the tears?" "It's learning about humanity," Do-hyun said. "It's showing empathy. The military saw strategic value in this. If one shimmer beast could learn empathy, perhaps others could too. Perhaps they could be taught not to consume humans." But Do-hyun knew there was more happening. Echo wasn't just learning about humanity. It was becoming something new, something between alien and human. And inside its changed consciousness, pieces of Mina lived on. One evening, when Do-hyun was alone with Echo, the creature stopped weeping. Its crystal form shifted, returning to its original spherical shape. But now there was a new pattern within the blue crystal, a small human figure preserved like an insect in amber. Through the neural interface, Echo sent a message, not in words, but in images and emotions. It showed Do-hyun something unexpected. The other shimmer beasts were coming, many others. They had felt the change in Echo through their hive mind, and they were curious. When? Do-hyun asked aloud. The answer came as a feeling, soon. Colonel Park burst into the lab the next morning. We've detected objects entering Earth's atmosphere, at least a dozen, all with the same signature as the first arrivals. Do-hyun looked at Echo, glowing peacefully in its container. I know. You know? How? Echo told me. Colonel Park's face hardened. What else has it told you? That's not the right question, Do-hyun said. The right question is, what has Echo learned from us? Echo's glow pulsed in agreement, and a single crystal tear formed on its surface, shimmering with the memories of a child who once was, and in some strange way, still remained. The military base was on high alert. Soldiers ran through hallways. Scientists packed up equipment. Outside, the sky was filled with flashes of light as the new shimmer beasts entered Earth's atmosphere. Do-hyun stood calmly in the lab, watching Echo glow in its container. The small human figure inside the blue crystal was clearly visible now, a perfect, tiny Mina, frozen in a moment of wonder. Colonel Park burst into the lab with 6 armed soldiers. We're moving the specimen to a secure location. These new arrivals could be hostile. They're not hostile, Do-hyun said. They're curious. Colonel Park stared at him. How could you possibly know that? Echo told me. The colonel's face hardened. Step away from the container, Dr. Kang. You're being relieved of your duties. Do-hyun didn't move. Echo has changed, Colonel. It's not just a shimmer beast anymore. Part of it is human now. Part of it is Mina. I don't care what it is. It's military property, and we're moving it. Ji-hye appeared in the doorway, out of breath. Colonel, you need to see this. On a large screen in the control room, they could see satellite images of the new arrivals. 12 shimmer beasts, each one, larger than Echo, had landed in a perfect circle around the military base. They weren't moving. They were just waiting, glowing with soft blue light. Why aren't they attacking? Colonel Park asked. They're waiting for Echo, Do-hyun said. They want to understand what happened to it. And what exactly did happen to it. Do-hyun looked at the colonel directly. I made it human. Colonel Park laughed, a harsh sound without humor. You're insane, Dr. Kang. Let me take Echo to them, Do-hyun said. Let me show them what we've learned together. Absolutely not. Then they'll come for Echo themselves, and they won't be careful about it. As if in response to Do-hyun's words, the ground shook. On the screen they could see one of the shimmer beasts moving toward the base, its crystalline form flowing like water over the ground. Alarms blared. Colonel Park snapped orders into his radio. Soldiers ran to defensive positions. This is a mistake, Do-hyun said. Let me talk to them. With what? Your neural interface? They could take over your mind. It's a risk I'm willing to take. Ji-hye stepped forward. Colonel Dr. Kang is the only one who has successfully communicated with these creatures. At least let him try. More alarms. The approaching shimmer beast had reached the outer fence of the base. Metal melted where it touched the alien form. Colonel Park hesitated, then nodded. Fine. But we go with armed escort. And at the first sign of trouble, we pull you out. They moved quickly through the base, Echo floating in a portable container. Do-hyun carried his neural interface in a small bag. Soldiers surrounded them, weapons ready. Outside, the air was cold. The sky was dark except for the glow of the shimmer beasts in the distance. The closest one had stopped at the inner fence as if waiting. Here, Do-hyun said, stopping in an open area. Let me set up. He placed Echo's container on the ground and opened it. The blue crystal sphere rose slightly, hovering just above the ground. Do-hyun knelt beside it and prepared his neural interface. Dr. Kang, Colonel Park warned, remember who you work for. Do-hyun looked up at him. I work for Mina. No. He placed the interface on Echo's surface and put the headset on his own head. Immediately, he was flooded with sensations. Echo was excited, nervous. It could feel its kind nearby, reaching out through their hive mind. The approaching shimmer beast stopped a few meters away. It was huge, at least 3 times Echo's size, its blue crystal form shifting constantly like a living liquid. Through Echo, Do-hyun reached out to the newcomer. It was ancient, far older than Echo. Its consciousness was vast, filled with memories of 1,000 worlds, 1,000,000 life forms consumed and preserved. The elder shimmer beast was confused by Echo. It could sense the changes in the younger one's structure, the human elements now integrated into its being. It had never encountered anything like this before. Do-hyun pushed forward, sharing what Echo had learned. The concept of individual consciousness, the value of a single life, the meaning of grief, the power of empathy. The elder creature absorbed these new ideas slowly, struggling to understand. In return, it shared its own knowledge with Do-hyun, the history of the Shimmer Beasts, their endless journey across the stars, their mission to preserve the knowledge of all life forms they encountered. They did not see consumption as destruction. They saw it as the highest form of honor, to make another being part of their eternal collective memory. But now, through Echo, they were beginning to understand that some life forms, like humans, experienced this differently. That what they saw as preservation, humans saw as death. Do-hyun felt the elder creature's confusion giving way to a new understanding. And with that understanding came something unexpected: respect. The huge shimmer beast moved closer to Echo. Their crystalline forms touched, blue light flowing between them. Through the interface, Do-hyun felt the elder creature examining the small human figure inside Echo. The memory of Mina, preserved more perfectly than any human memory had ever been preserved before. And then the elder creature did something astonishing. It reached out to the other 11 shimmer beasts through their hive mind, sharing what it had learned from Echo and Do-hyun. Within seconds, all 12 of the newcomers knew about Mina, about grief, about the human desire to continue as individuals rather than be absorbed into a collective. The elder creature pulled away from Echo. Its form shifted, becoming more structured, more defined. For a moment, it took on a vaguely human shape, mimicking what it had seen in Echo's memories. Do-hyun removed his headset, blinking in the bright light of dawn. The shimmer beasts had all moved closer, forming a circle around him and Echo. They were all glowing brightly, their light pulsating in a synchronized rhythm. "What's happening?" Colonel Park asked, his hand on his weapon. "They're changing," Do-hyun said. "They're learning." The elder shimmer beast moved toward the edge of the circle. The other 11 followed. They were leaving, flowing away from the base in a line of blue light. But Echo remained. It hovered next to Do-hyun, its glow soft and steady. "Why isn't it going with them?" Ji-hee asked. "Because it has a choice now. Echo is something new, not just a shimmer beast anymore." Do-hyun looked at the small figure inside the blue crystal. "Part of it is Mina." Do-hyun reached out and touched Echo's surface. The crystal was warm under his fingers. Through their connection, which remained even without the interface, he felt Echo's decision. It would go with its kind, but not to consume more worlds. It would teach them what it had learned about humanity, about the value of individual lives. Echo rose higher into the air. As it did, something fell from it. A small piece of blue crystal that landed in Do-hyun's hand. Inside the crystal was a perfect miniature replica of Mina, frozen in a moment of joy. "A gift," Do-hyun said, closing his fingers around the crystal. "A memory." Echo joined the other shimmer beasts at the edge of the horizon. Together they rose into the sky, 12 points of blue light with a smaller light in their center. Within moments they were gone. 6 months later, Do-hyun stood on the porch of a small house at the edge of New Seoul. Behind him, the house was filled with children's laughter. The Mina Foundation for Extraterrestrial Communication had just opened, its doors with Do-hyun as its director and Ji-hee as its chief scientist. Around his neck, Do-hyun wore a small crystal pendant. Inside it, tiny Mina danced frozen in blue light. Sometimes when the night was quiet, Do-hyun would hold the crystal and feel a faint connection. Echo, somewhere among the stars, still learning, still growing, still carrying a part of Mina with, and sometimes, if he listened very carefully, he could almost hear Echo weeping. not with sorrow anymore, but with the wonder of a universe now seen through both alien and human eyes.